And just like that, Gypsy Rose has announced that she is pregnant, and we're going to talk about it in today's video. Hello Sofa Squad and welcome back to the sofa. My name is Paul, and like I said, today we're going to be discussing, we're revisiting Gypsy Rose, that case, that story, that saga, and specifically just one quick update, and it's that she is pregnant with Ken's baby. Allegedly. We'll see. I want to make sure the timeline's there, but I mean, I trust it as Ken's, right? But we'll see. That being said, I want to talk about two things. I want to reference a People magazine article that broke some news and whatnot. Then I also want to just talk about her personal video she did on her channel talking about I'm pregnant. And in fact, what we'll do is we'll kind of intertwine the both of those and use talking points from the article to go into conversation about her video. What I want to do is put up here the article, and it says Gypsy Rose Blanchard is pregnant, expecting first baby with boyfriend Ken Urker. Gypsy Rose Blanchard announced she is pregnant on her YouTube channel on Tuesday, July 9th. This is by Hannah Sachs and Angela Andaloro and Emma Becker. July 9th, 12:38 p.m. It is July 9th, 1:12 p.m. at this recording, but you might not see this until a couple of days later. So that's it. I just read this and immediately was like, oh my God. I just finished watching the video. So it's like a live. This is basically a live reaction, okay? So there's that. Let's get to the first thing. So it says Gypsy's going to be a mom. Just goes into, who she is. Again, if you've not followed this, then she did take place in the unaliving of her mother, Dee Dee, back in 2015. Her boyfriend, Ken Urker, he's 31. Again, she left her husband Ryan. She's now with Ken. She had dated Ken, went to the altar while she was in prison. He left her there. The stepmother, Chrissy, seems to have pushed them together, and she speaks later in this article and kind of confirms a lot of stuff we were talking about, so we'll get to that though. Let's just keep going here. Now, it does say that the video is titled I'm Pregnant, My Journey So Far. Came out then. And let's get to this. It says, it starts off, the rumors have been flying around for some time now. I'm happy to announce I'm 11 weeks pregnant. It does say that Ken and I are expecting our first child come January 2025. She adds that this was not planned at all. It was completely unexpected. We're both very excited on this new journey of parenthood. Now let's pause there for 1 second. When I watched the video, and that's how she opens it, is basically with that, it does seem scripted. It looks like she's reading off of something that seems very wooden. Now, I'm sure that this is like a major press release moment for her or whatever, so maybe she did have stuff down there. I'm not faulting her for that, but it did seem very intentional the way she was doing it, if that makes sense. Now, let's just continue going on here. And it says later in the video, she does address some concerns. I know there's going to be people who feel like I'm not ready to be a mother, she says, and I don't know if anyone's really ever ready to be a mother. Now, let's pause there again. So we are at episode 5, I believe, in the TV show, and the one that I watched last, depending on when you're seeing this, is she went to go hook up with her sister Mia and kind of have a girls' night or whatever. And she's talking about her and Ryan having unsafe, whoop whoop, and going to completion, and Mia takes Gypsy to get a day after pill. Imagine, first of all, what Ryan's thinking watching this, like, huh? Like, you leave me, you're with him and all this type stuff? I mean, that was just then, and so now I'm turning this on, I'm like, you're pregnant with Ken's baby? Because Mia went on and on talking about you don't need to be pregnant right now. I do not think the family ever wanted her to start a life with Ryan, period. And Christy will basically say this here in a minute when we get to it. Let's keep talking so we can get to it. It does say that Gypsy got emotional about the opportunity to be a loving mother. She says, all the things I wanted in a mother, I wanted to give to this baby. I'm a mother now. I'm happy. I just want to be a good mother for my child. I want to be everything my mother wasn't. Now, regardless of how you feel about Gypsy or if it's too soon and whatnot, we'll talk about my personal feelings on that here in a minute. I can 100% see this, that you would want to provide for your child. That would just be normal, but especially in a situation like hers, where she's coming from this very tumultuous growing up situation. So she's wanting to be something a little bit more, and not repeating the same things. So time will tell. Now, it goes on further to talk about her speaking out about rekindling the love affair with Ken. It does say that he proposed in 2018. The relationship ended years prior to her 2023 prison release. When she got out, we know this already, she was married to X, and then things started to kind of come back together. Now, the very last little thing here, it says, Ken and I reconnected as friends. It wasn't like jump out of a marriage and then let me meet up with you, and boom, we're in a relationship. I think it seemed like that to us. She said we had kept a friendship for the longest time. He was in a relationship, I was with Ryan, and so we were living different lives with respect to our partners, a wish you the best type of thing. I just don't believe that. I think it was we're going to end up hurting people. I mean, I'm just going to call that out. I feel like that part, they put people through, not a good situation. Now, it does say in this next page here that after her marriage to Anderson fell apart, Blanchard told people that irk her. So she turned to it. It wasn't until then I knew my marriage was over that I was like, I would like to see you and let's hang out, because we never got to hang out before when I was in prison. She says that Ken is her first love because that's when I honestly felt like a mature love. It wasn't based off of a fantasy. It was actually based on a connection that two people have for each other. Now, here's where it gets to the tea. Okay. It says in May, Blanchard's stepmom Christy told people that Urker was moving to Louisiana, where Blanchard lives, to be with her. At the time, Christy also admitted that she was the one who pushed her stepdaughter to reunite with her former fiancé. It's all my fault and I'll gladly take the blame. I wanted them back together, she told people exclusively. I made that happen. Put the heat on me. Gypsy will finally get her happily ever after, she continued. Ken's moving to New Orleans to be with her real soon. He found a place. Gypsy is so excited to have him closer. A love like theirs comes once in a lifetime. Now, this is where I'm just like, okay, now again, does this mean that I'm like pro her and Ryan to being together? No. But the behavior that I saw from Christy playing matchmaker and all this and the manipulation, I got real bad vibes off that. Real bad vibes, and I'm not sure how I feel about Ken. Now the article switches to some conversations that Gypsy had earlier in the year, or last year I should say, and it says that she discussed with people how she'd have to explain to her future kids about her time in prison, noting that she knew it would be a hard conversation. We're in love, said Blanchard, who was still with Anderson at the time, but also it's hard because I'm going into a new life and I'm newly married. I'm gonna have kids one day. I'm gonna have to explain to my kids why their grandmother on mommy's side isn't around, and that's gonna be a really hard conversation, she says. Now, I mean, amen, can you imagine? There's like enough hard conversations to have with children as it is, okay? Yeah, this is one that we're not going to want to do for 200, Alex. Let's keep going. So it says one thing she says she isn't worried about is hurting her children the way her mother Dee Dee hurt her, forcing Blanchard into numerous painful medical procedures she never needed. Whenever somebody says, do you think that because of what you went through, you're going to do that to your kids? I say, you know what? Absolutely not, said Blanchard, who has gone through years of self-work and continues to receive therapy. I've learned what not to do. I have no concerns about parenting when it comes to that. Okay, so let's do some like overall thoughts. Now again, like I said, I watched her actual video that she put out on her channel. It's called I'm Pregnant, My Journey So Far. Now, like I said before, it kind of seems like, you know, there's a little bit of scriptedness at the beginning and whatnot. She does seem to then kind of go off on more of like a heartfelt statement. She gets emotional a couple of times. I guess overall, you know, I'm listening to it and I'm like, you know, it's such a unique thing because not many people come out like to do a pregnancy announcement like this because they're not in this situation. So it's just kind of odd in that way to me. But again, this is a very unique situation, a very unique person, very, you know, just very one-off scenario here. I just keep going back to the conversations that Mia had and Gypsy being like, no, I don't want kids, I don't want kids. Now, again, this was filmed, you know, back when, right? So things change. I just feel like listening to Christy talk about how much she wanted Ken and Gypsy back together. Gypsy saying, oh, this is my first love. This whole thing about I waited till my marriage was over and all that. No. The marriage was over, okay, while they were still together. And Ken was in the picture, weaseling his way in. Now, if Gypsy and Ken stay together, great. I would question like some of the questions that come up. Is this a way to keep Ken around? You know, because we went from I don't want to be pregnant, I want to do this to okay, we're having kids now. There's so many things that, you know, she was like, oh, I'll never be the blonde and this and that he wants, but now she has blonde hair, now she has a nose job. So it's like I hope that her motivations are in a decent place, because people, one hard lesson in life to learn is people are going to leave you if they want to leave you. You know what I'm saying? No matter what you do. Through kids, through plastic surgery. If he doesn't want to be there, he'll just leave one day. And so nothing you can do will keep him around. And I'm not trying to say that's exactly what she's doing because I don't know her, right? I haven't walked in her shoes. But there's just some questionable stuff. Now, also, I do take into consideration that her life is being presented on a reality TV show that we are just seeing what's being presented, right? We're not walking in her shoes. We're not there with her. We're not part of her family, any of that stuff. So it's the context and the editing and all that type of stuff that puts it together. I will continue to say this. So if you want some behind the scenes tea, you better go watch Ryan Anderson's lives on TikTok. I mean, okay, you want the real, now you got to sit there and watch the live. but he drops some little nuggets here and there, right? So I'm sure he's hurt over this. You know, I haven't seen Gypsy and Ken interacting that much. You know, I mean, maybe some on live TikTok, stuff like that. I don't really watch her lives. And I don't really watch Ryan's too much. I'll tune into his more than hers because it just gets annoying. I mean, to me, there's this vibe with Gypsy where it's like this is her job now, and obviously it is, being like a face on social media for commentary, and that's how she's kind of making her living and doing that kind of thing. And hey, no harm, no foul. I get it, whatever. But it feels like a job, if that makes sense. Like the pregnancy announcement felt like part of the job description. There's something missing from it. Not just that, but all of it. It doesn't feel authentic is what I'm looking for. And what am I to expect? I mean, again, if you look at just the timeline of the events that she's gone through, you know, is anything authentic really? You know what I mean? On the internet, I mean, come on. So my fingers are crossed for the child in this situation, and I'm not saying that because she'll do what her mother did or anything like that, but this is going to be a very interesting situation of being born into this. You know what I mean? Like, I hope what I'm getting at is I hope her life is balanced out enough by the time said child comes around that there's not going to be anything tumultuous. Because one thing that Gypsy does talk about is how her and Ken have talked about coming from broken homes and divorced parents, and that they don't, you know, want their child to come up that way. And I'm just like, well, we're not really starting off on the best foundation, are we? I mean, he left you in prison to let you find yourself, then weaseled his way back in via your stepmom. You know, hopefully it will last forever. Hopefully it will, right? And they'll go happily ever after, you know, so we'll see. Anyways, if Gypsy was looking for a season 3 for her show, she just got it. Okay, let's just call a spade a spade. So we'll see how it goes. Anyways, so that's it. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. And as always, drop some little sofas off there for me, for Roscoe and Spirit, so that we can hang out on the sofa, talk about this case, this crime, whatever you want to call it, this scandal, this TV show, and all the other crazy stuff we talk about here at the Sofa Squad. And until we do all that and make our way down to that comment section, we'll see y'all soon. I just wanted to say thank you again for watching the whole video, and also thank you for being part of the Sofa Squad. Special thanks to all the Patreon members, channel members from both of my channels, everybody who likes, shares, subscribes, comments in the comment sections. It helps the channel out so much. Now, don't forget, I do have that other channel, the podcast channel. That's where we go live, we hang out, we talk. We have kind of sort of a schedule, but just be sure and check it out. I'll put it up here on the screen. Also, if you're looking for merch, be sure to check out my Teespring store. I'll put that up here. And then, like I said in the beginning of the video, if you want to follow me and Roscoe on the Instagram, go on, check it out. It's right here on the screen again. But once again, thank you very much. I really appreciate you being part of the Sofa Squad, and I'll see you in the next video.